Hi everyone, I'm Khadija Drago and welcome to Conversations with For a Common Good. We here at For a Common Good are committed to boosting the voices of small local nonprofits. We believe in making change through spotlighting community-based nonprofits across the country. Today, our focus is philanthropy-driven students and student organizations, namely sororities. Social organizations, yes, but if you are a member, past or present, you probably don't know that they are also organizations with a deep commitment to doing good. Today, I have the privilege of sitting down with Riley Watkins, president of Chi Omega Epsilon Beta at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, the very first sorority to charter at UNC Chapel Hill. Among other things, Riley and I are going to talk about how this amazing organization has given its time and talent to others since its inception in 1923. Hi, Riley. Welcome to Conversations with For a Common Good. Thank you for joining us today. Congratulations on being elected president of your Chi Omega chapter and becoming a member of the philanthropy cabinet.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. As I said earlier, people who haven't been involved with the sorority see them mainly as a social club. You and I both know that that isn't all there is to them. In 2001, Chi Omega announced the Chi Omega/Make-A-Wish Alliance. It is so successful, Chi Omega has recognized as a Make-A-Wish cause champion sponsor. On a national level, Chi Omega has raised over $20 million and has volunteered more than 1 million hours. What about your chapter's support of a Make-A-Wish Foundation?
Yeah, so as of this past year, the Epsilon Beta chapter of Chi Omega has donated 7,422 hours of service time and raised $155,096 for the foundation. But beyond that, we've got a lot of events planned for this calendar year. And I know that we've got a great philanthropy cabinet that's ready to really with them, the sky is the limit. They're ready to raise, and we've got big goals set, and I'm excited to see them be met.
That's great. In the best of times, successfully driven fundraisers take different forms. During these trying times, the past year or so, organizations have had to adjust. Chi Omega fundraising has particularly creative, or as you say on your website, it looks a little different this year. What does that look?
Yeah, so we really had to take a step back and consider how we could raise the same level of participation and excitement for fundraising and philanthropy while being bound to this sort of virtual setting. You know, we knew we didn't want the wheel because there was no need for that, but we definitely needed to make it a more efficient and exciting setting. And so, you know, we weren't able to garner the support like we do out in the pit and sit down. So we had to think, okay, how are we going to reach the most people, engage the most people, and do this all while being virtual? So our largest fundraiser of the year is typically a dodgeball tournament, and it engages people with a competitive aspect, which always seems to be a major winner when it comes to fundraisers. So our thought process had to be, how can we raise money and get people excited in the same way that we do with our dodgeball tournament, which is when we came up with the idea to do a March Madness bracket challenge. It's completely virtual. People would buy their brackets and it was of no charge to us. So we were able to just take those profits and donate it 100% to Make-A-Wish. So we're making all of this money for a great foundation. All the while, these people are getting excited for the gifts that sponsors had provided. And, you know, it was this kind of fun activity to take people away from the stress and anxiety of the pandemic, but also, you know, raise money for a great occasion. Another example of this is that in previous years, we had done a thing called Princess Party, where we would get toys together and go to local hospitals dressed up as princesses and just go and surprise pediatric units. And these are kids who are facing, you know, treatments that result in them being immunosuppressed or, you know, things like that. They've got a lot on their plate and we didn't want to put them in harm's way.
Yeah.
And so we had to think, okay, how can we best impact here and bring them a bit of joy at this difficult time in their lives? And so we got in touch with the hospitals and fulfilled Amazon wish lists of toys and sent it to them. So there was only a little bit of contact via email with us, but we were able to still see the reactions of the kids and see the benefit of them getting things like coloring books and dolls and what have you. And it's just all thinking outside the box in those kinds of scenarios.
That's great. Is it possible for you to go into Greek Groove?
Into what?
Into Greek Groove.
Oh, yeah. So that's a really fun event that luckily is going to be held in person this year, and it benefits the National Alliance for Eating Disorder Awareness, which is our whole Pan-Hellenic Society's
Mm-hmm.
philanthropy. And so last year we had to rethink that one as well. And we were like, okay, how can we get people? And how can we possibly do voting on which dance is the best? And we were like, wait, we've got the power of social media. We know how to utilize this. And so they made it a TikTok challenge, basically, where each chapter could submit a certain number of videos and they had to be choreographed dances.
Mm-hmm.
And the videos with the most likes and shares were the winners. And then, there was funding raised. And then we were able to earn $500 for Make-A-Wish as a result because we had the most likes. So something like that where you're able to take what we have. We're so fortunate to have social media. That's something that, we had to rework and had a great time with.
That's great. Has Chi Omega ever partnered with other nonprofit organizations? If not, is it something that you'd possibly consider?
Yeah, absolutely. We have, and it's something I'm really proud of. Most recently, we partnered with another on-campus organization and held a concert and barbecue that benefited Meals on Wheels, as food insecurity is a prevalent problem that we really want us coming out of the pandemic. And with the economy in the state it's in, it's something that's a bit closer to home nowadays. And so that was something that we were passionate about and wanted to raise money for. In addition to that, we fundraised for Pediatric Cancer Foundation during Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. And we did bingo boards and managed to raise nearly $4,000 in the span of 3 days. So as an exec, we're always so eager to take part in raising awareness for causes that are near and dear to our members' hearts. And it's something that I'm just really thrilled we're able to give our members the space to do.
As president, what do you hope to accomplish during your tenure? Is there anything in particular you'd want to change, or any new procedures or programs that you'd want to institute?
Yeah, so my exec board is brilliant. They are so smart and well equipped and just the best people. And we recently put into place a diversity, equity, and inclusion chair. And I feel like given the people I'm surrounded with, we all really wanted to make major changes in the ways that we approach diversity, equity, and inclusion, and also mental health. So those have been our two major goals. And the ways we're going about achieving those goals is with mental health, we've created a mental health cabinet, and we're getting those girls who are part of the cabinet risk trained so that they can be best equipped to deal with any type of mental health crisis, be it stress from a test or a severe panic attack, and be able to be there for our girls in a way where they can source them to the correct outlets and get them the help they need, and also just be shoulders to cry on when they need it. And so that's something, and their services also range to more fun activities. Like it's been midterms week, and we just had slushies the other day provided by that cabinet as a break instead of doing a chapter meeting, so that these girls can take a breather and not be so consumed by the stress that is college. Yeah. So that's a big one that we've been focusing on. And then with the equity and inclusion, I just want people to see the changes that we're making intrinsically on the exterior. There's so much that goes on inside the walls of Chi Omega that is really great stuff. And so we're trying to have that translate outside. So we recently went to the historic district and are trying to get a ramp installed at our house. That way we can have people who are of all body types, be it able-bodied or not able-bodied, be able to come in. And, a girl who wants to rush and she's in a wheelchair and she's self-conscious already about, oh, what are they going to think about me? Doesn't have to worry, oh, how am I going to get into this house?
Yeah.
We're bringing an architect in to make things ADA approved.
Mhm.
We are working to partner with the multicultural sorority and fraternity organizations on campus and do more outreach in those senses, because we really do have a sorority that's so special and has so much heart. And I want for everyone, no matter financial, no matter capabilities, no matter race, none of it, I want them to feel the same welcome and love that all of our members know and experience. And so efforts like that, we're allocating funds for more scholarships so it can be a financially feasible thing for people who maybe wouldn't be interested because of that aspect of sorority life, and just measures like that.
That's great. How do you feel that organizations such as Chi Omega can impact social change? Do you think they have a place in that?
Absolutely. I mean, Chi Omega, not only as a chapter on campus, but nationally is one of the largest fraternal organizations in the nation. I think it is maybe the largest, if I'm correct. I know we've got one of the alumni associations. And so given that platform and given how many people can use their voices and how quickly we can get things spread through our nationals and other, on-campus chapters, we absolutely should be using our voices for social change. We would be remiss if we weren't. And so I've noticed that in other, we've been able to make some changes elsewhere. And when we come to national conventions together, we're talking about how we can move forward and be forward thinkers and things of that nature and promote great changes. So I absolutely think that sorority organizations can and should impact social change.
Okay. Can we talk about Chi Omega Sisterhood? I'm sure it's not just the functions or even the philanthropy, but more importantly, the day-to-day living that your lives almost are close to a family. Am I right?
Absolutely. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. A family is exactly what I'd call it. Aside from the sisterhood events and aside from the mixers and cocktails that we hold, there's just such an ease to it all. Like, we truly live amongst each other. I'll send out a text and I'll be like, hey, everyone, Jeopardy's on at the house. Come sit down and watch. And we just come in, chill. There's no pretenses. It's just easy. And, we'll go to dinner together and the grades intermix. And it's just this really wonderful and relaxed environment. And it truly is like you've been growing up with these people, when in reality, I mean, me as a sophomore, I've known all of these girls for max 2 years, some of them less than that. And the fact that we've just got this community that really is so relaxed and so welcoming and warm, it makes all the difference.
Sounds so nice. Now that we know about the philanthropy and the sisterhood, can you tell us about the functions and how they play a part in the sisterhood and possibly the philanthropy?
Yeah, so we obviously will have social events because we love to promote, socialization, connections, all of that, but we try to make them purposeful. So, for example, with our parents' cocktail, we always have a silent auction in which we try to get gifts donated and then we auction them off, and all of the funds from that go to Make-A-Wish. So there's always a purpose. There's always something behind what we're doing. And so we allow ourselves to have fun, but we associate that fun with philanthropic efforts. And I think that's what makes our girls so excited to donate and to do things like that, because there is that association of, hey, this can be fun. It's not just writing a check, it's doing this and making good memories alongside it, and then also feeling good because you've made a change for a child somewhere.
Yeah. On your website, we have posted a letter as president. You have posted a letter as president of the chapter. Sorry, it gives such a deeply personal and moving look into you and what drew you into Chi Omega. Can you take us through that letter?
Yeah. So the setting is 2020, and it's a couple weeks before Rush, and I had just been diagnosed with my second bout of cancer, Ewing sarcoma, and I had suffered a brain bleed. I was completely paralyzed on my right side. I was in rehab, couldn't walk, couldn't write, couldn't hold myself upright. Like I couldn't even sit without assistance. It was probably the lowest point of my life, if I'm being frank and honest. And I was on all these meds. I was bald again. I was showing crazy moon face because steroids will do that to you. And I was just so insecure. And my perception of sororities prior to rushing was that it might have been based on looks to some extent. And I was really concerned. And I kept telling my mom, I was like, I don't want to rush. I don't want to go through it. This is going to be humiliating. I don't want to be dropped because of my appearance. And I don't want to be the token cancer patient either. I wanted people to want me in their organization for who I was as a person and what I had to offer, but also support me through the hard times, but know that that's not all that there is to me. And the first day, the only house that I spoke to that didn't address all of the medical hardware behind me or the bald head or the steroid face was Kaio. And we talked and talked and talked and just laughed. And that was the first time I had laughed in so long, because I was working so hard on just trying to get better. And, all my energy went every day towards trying to learn how to walk, trying to hold a pencil again. Yeah. And these girls removed me from that headspace where I was able to just be carefree and be a college student. And not only that, they were so supportive of me the whole time. They were saying, I hope you pick here. And I hope that you find where you're supposed to be, but just know that past rush too, no matter where you end up, we'll be your friend, we'll support you. And that meant the world to me. And they were my cheerleaders the whole time. And once pref night came around, it was the easiest decision of my life to put them down as number one. And then the next day was the best day of my life, opening my bid letter and getting it. And the support really hasn't stopped. I'm still in treatment. I'm still, undergoing chemotherapy, and the support's been unwavering. They've supported me and made me feel comfortable enough to pursue this position as president of the organization, despite being away sometimes and despite having health challenges. They don't view me for that. They view me for what they know I can do and who I am. And that is it's a game changer, because it really can be, some people only talk to me because I've had cancer before, things like that. And that wasn't the case here. So they really love us for our authentic selves, and it makes all the difference. I could get teary-eyed about it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. As a result of your fight with cancer, you raised awareness towards pediatric cancer research and blood donations. Are there any specific pediatric cancer research nonprofits that you support, and how do you support them?
Yeah, so my favorite is definitely the PCF, Pediatric Cancer Foundation. And that's just because I can trust that when I donate there, the money is going 100% towards research and towards funding treatments for young kids. And I just have good faith in them, and I love what they do, because they'll split it evenly between helping current patients and also helping find a cure. The crazy thing is, pediatric cancers only receive 4% of the national fundraising for cancer. And that's absurd. 4% for all of the hundreds of pediatric cancers there are.
Yeah.
And so you hear that stat and you go, well, that's not right. And so what I try to do is I try to raise awareness by bringing up that statistic as much as possible. Some people who follow me on Instagram might be like, okay, we get it, 4%. I will say it till I'm blue, because there's so much disparity in that sense.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest way I give back is I am a pediatric cancer survivor and warrior, and I'm working and using my voice as such and trying to tell everyone I know. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate because I didn't know about that disparity prior to my diagnosis. I wasn't concerned with it because I didn't think, you think you're kind of blissfully ignorant. It's like, oh, kids don't get sick. Kids are healthy. Cancer
Yeah.
is a thing that affects older people. It's not. And that's a harsh reality. And it's sad that I didn't realize that before and that I wasn't advocating for it. But I'm so glad that I now have that perspective and I'm able to talk about it and raise awareness and point people through my social media, through blog posts that I make and things of that nature, and say, hey, donate here because of this reason, because these are our future leaders. And these are the people who are truly going to change the world. And I just want to stress that to people and use my voice as much as I can to advocate for the little ones.
Yeah, it's a great cause, and I've already learned so much from you. But now that we have an insight into philanthropy, the functions, and the sisterhood, and how these all play a part in your lives while you're students, can you tell us how Chi Omega impacts or plays a part in your lives after you graduate, not just a year or two, but after graduation and over the long haul?
Yeah, so the alumni network is huge. My dad always says, he says, second only to education, connections are the best thing that you can bring with you when entering the workforce.
Mm-hmm.
And given how large the alumni network is, we're able to put our foot in the door in so many ways, because you can reach out to a girl or a sister who maybe went to the same school as you years ago, but she works at Cisco, or for example, we have an alumni who is a writer for SNL, things like that, where you can go and message them through the Chi Omega website and say, hey, I'm really passionate about this. I don't even need you to give me the job, just maybe put my name in there. And they're going to know, given the standard that we hold ourselves to and, the character that it takes to be a Chi-O, that you're a good person, and they tend to let you in the door and get you an interview, or at least put you in touch with the right people. And we've seen that happen in so many cases, and not just with jobs, but when applying for houses or, applying for internships, things of that nature. And you see these friendships form as a result of it. And you see these girls go on to do really, really great things as a result.
Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts, or is there anything that you'd like to add?
Yeah, I would just love to shout out my executive board first and foremost. You only got to talk to me, but when I say they are some of the most forward thinking and intelligent and bright and wonderful people I've ever had the honor of knowing, they really are. And they deserve all the kudos and props for all of their hard work. And a shout out to all of the members of Chi-O here at UNC. They are outstanding individuals, and I love them so much for helping me love this place and inspiring me to take a position on the executive board. And just, again, thank you for taking the time to interview me and letting me spread awareness for two things that I really care so much about.
Yeah, of course. A big thank you to Riley Watkins for not only sitting down with us and sharing the good work of Chi Omega, but for also sharing her personal story as well. I don't know about all of you, but I see sororities in a totally different light. I'm Khadija, and this has been Conversations with For a Common Good. Thank you for sitting with us today.
Thank you.
Have a nice night. Bye.
You too.